many higher powers or many gods, goddesses.
Okay. Okay, what do I believe in? See, let me say, what is it that I'm teaching?
Mm-hmm.
See, I believe that an individual is so much more than what he or she thinks they are. An individual is a lot more. There is so much more to the experience of life. There is so much more to the understanding of life, and so much more to the very process of life. I believe that life can be lived so much more differently as opposed to just being lost in thoughts, just being confined to certain concepts and ideas of life. Life can be much more freer, much more vaster. And as far as belief is concerned, 100% without a doubt, it's not even a belief. I know that there is a force, there is a consciousness, there is an aliveness. You call it God, you call it divinity, you call it, the Great Spirit, or you call it, Yahweh, or you call it whatever you want. There is something transcendental that is beyond the physical realm. And the accessibility to that is our own mind and body. We can actually connect if we know how to connect with our mind and body. So this has nothing to do with religion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't come from any religious background. I mean, I've had teachers, they've been completely non-religious. They've taught me meditation, and I've been reading and exploring different ways of meditating. So if you really want a label, it is a scientific exploration of the inner self, scientific exploration of oneself. So there's no God, there's no religion, there's no belief system as such. So if you believe in something, that is your belief.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will share my experience of life, my experience of meditation, and how it has transformed my life, and how it can transform you, how it can help you. But however you structure it for yourself, I mean, if you want to structure it as, something divine coming from some outer space somewhere, that is perfectly fine. But if you want to just believe in yourself and your path and your way of life, that is also perfectly fine.
So self-awareness.
It is really self-awareness, self-consciousness. I mean, my organization name itself is Ahamo. Aham means self. And Ahamo literally means celebrate that self. So for me, an individual mind, an individual heart, the way we deal with this, the way we, learn to live with ourselves, that is the most important thing. The more time you spend with yourself, the more time you spend watching your thought process, slowly other dimensions will open up. There are things that you cannot even imagine. But if we talk about it, it'll just be conceptual. And it'll sound very religious, because religion has somehow hijacked the language of spirituality. It has simply stolen all the words and it has made something else out of it. So if I really start talking about what is it that I believe in, and what is consciousness, what is enlightenment, what is awakening, it might almost sound like, oh, this is a little too religious. I just want to go beyond some stress. I just want to go beyond some pain and frustrations of life. And that is all there is. Really, starting point is, how do we cultivate certain amount of stillness within us, certain amount of silence? Because these are the neutral zones where the disturbance of the thoughts cannot enter. Right? It is just a way of interspersing our constant noisy lifestyle with some sprinkles of silence. It's just like music. There's constant noise. If you're able to break that noise and add some silence, it becomes music. That's all music is. And music is nothing but an ornamentation for silence. If there is no silence, there is no music. It's the same with our mind. Our mind is absolutely chaotic and it is pointless without interspersing it with a little bit of stillness, a little bit of silence. See, life becomes a beautiful rhythmic song If we can pause whenever we want to pause, and if we can engage with life whenever we want to engage with it, that is the real problem, because we don't have the controls. Everything is automatic, everything is subconscious, unconscious. Now, morning till evening, we just live without watching ourselves, without watching our thoughts. And that is where we don't know how to step away from all these things. So really what I talk about is the nature of the mind, the nature of the body. And the more deeper you go into this, you will also begin to understand the nature of the reality around you, because everything is bound to the mind and body. And even when you talk about consciousness, God, eventually it is all flowing through your understanding. I mean, my primary argument is, if you were not there, this discussion is not even relevant. I mean, for me, God is an absolutely useless concept without you. You have to exist. Your mind has to exist. Your body has to exist. Then you got to bring in the concept of a God and put it in some shape, some structure, and deal with it. Now, if you take away yourself from the picture, then all these ideas are simply nonsensical. So anything that takes individuals away from themselves, any concept, it could be religion, it could be philosophy, it could be too much of idle thinking and speculation, that is what I'm really against. Anything that doesn't help an individual to be here. See, I love stars, I love the sky, I love the Milky Way galaxy, I love all that. But that is not my life. My life is my breath. My life is the ground I'm here. What I'm experiencing at this very moment is the most important thing. If I cannot take care of this moment, this breath, this thought process, then everything else is immaterial. So my journey has taught me only this, that every point of existence contains the answers for all your questions. Existence itself is the healer. Mind is the wound. The body is the wound. Time is the healer. Silence is the healer. Stillness is the healer. All you have to do is just be in the lap of existence. Every day for a few minutes. You can start with 10 minutes, then move it to an hour or a couple of hours or two, however long you spend. That time that you spend in silence and stillness, all your worries, all your psychological problems, automatically they get healed. Because all we need to allow is these things to settle down. As of now, the water is too muddy and we are trying to find something at the bottom and we cannot even see. All we have to do is just keep that bowl there and wait. After some time, the mud settles and then we can see what's at the bottom and what is water, what is mud. We'll know clearly. See, it's just like that. There is a muddy water and we have confused that to be the ultimate reality. We don't know what is pure water. We don't know what is pure perception. Everything we see is colored by our thinking. When we look at people, immediately our ideas are projected onto them. Everything is intermixed with our thinking. My teaching is, how do you separate the mud from the water so that you can experience the pure, pristine you? Every moment, how you can perceive reality in its purest sense. So in this sense, there is no God, there is no seeking something beyond you. It is just purifying your mind, purifying your body. And surprisingly, there are a lot of different cultures, a lot of different sources, a lot of different teachers who have spoken about it. So I try and pick up the words of those teachers and try and see if we can add meaning, a new meaning apart from the religious meaning. So last few months I was talking about Jesus' teachings in the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas. I mean, completely different interpretation. It's not a religious interpretation. So somebody who is just listening, they might think, oh, he's talking about Jesus. I don't want to do anything with Jesus. But then whether you want to do something with him or not, his influence is there. I mean, such a man existed and his teachings are there. And we can either turn blind eye to it or try and understand what exactly these things mean. Not to become religious, but to become ourselves, to draw knowledge, draw inspiration from different sources and find a way for ourselves.